All right. What's going on, everyone? This is Billy Lewis with ScareNetwork. How's everybody doing tonight?
Doing great.
Doing good.
I am with Outlaw Jimmy, Outlaw Jeff, and Outlaw Kevin. If you guys want to introduce yourself, then do that, and then we'll kind of jump into it.
Hi, I'm Jimmy with Outlaw. Uh, we've been doing Outlaw for about 5 years now, and we got two others on the group now.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, my name's Jeff. I'm with Outlaw. And Jimmy's been working together, like you said, for 5 years now. And it just started out as something to do and took off and grew.
My name is Kevin Palmer. I'm a Nashville recording artist. I don't know how I got roped into this. Some moonshine from Jimmy. I don't know.
Wait, you bought some moonshine from Jimmy, and next thing you know, you're in his.
Yeah.
Wait, is his moonshine called Ricker's Liquor? What's it called, Jimmy?
It's called Paranormal Spirit. We actually got blackberry and caramel apple. Kevin, he got on that blackberry. Then next thing you know, we had him in a haunted house, and he's been stuck ever since.
You gave me actually what is it, a fit or no, what is it, a little bottle of it. Yeah, pint. I don't drink liquor, so I don't know, but you gave me a pint, and it's still sitting on my refrigerator out in my garage. Maybe we'll get a wild hair one night and get into it.
Yep. Summer's about over with. You better hurry and crack the lid on it.
Why, is it no good in the winter?
It's good in the winter, but it's better in the summertime.
Really? All right. Well, yeah. Let's talk about the Glen House. Well, first off, let me go back, Jimmy. How long have you been in the paranormal and investigating? Not just you and Jeff, but you yourself. And why? How did you get into it? And what's so intriguing about it for you?
Well, I've actually been doing it for a little over probably about 22 years now. And I got into it and then slacked off of it for a while. My whole family's been very sensitive. My mom, my grandma, my great grandma. And I've actually, the church that I went to believed in casting out spirits. And I've been around that, growed up around that all my life. So it's just been in my bloodline. I mean, just like racing or anything else, it's always been in my bloodline.
Nice. What about you, Jeff?
I've been doing it about 10 years now.
How'd you get into it?
I had some experiences growing up as a kid, and I fully didn't really understand it all. And then when the TAPS team started their show up, I was like, okay, this stuff can be done. And which reminded me of everything that I went through. And I just got into it from there.
And the rest is history.
Yeah.
Well, Kevin, with me since.
And Kevin, you have you haven't been doing music that long, have you? Right? What's your kind of background?
2 years on the music. Well, we did it as kids, as teenagers. I lived in an area where there was a lot of folklore in an area called the Boogie Woods, where there was all kinds of haunted, secluded places. And when we were teenagers, we would go out and kind of investigate them ourselves before we'd ever heard of paranormal research. It was fun, you know?
Yeah.
And then this kind of exploded. And, you know, I was doing some shows at some haunted locations where Jimmy was at. And he gave me some of that moonshine. And then the next thing I know, I was playing shows, and then the next thing I know, I was running from ghosts.
Kevin, you're from Missouri, right?
Yes, sir.
So how far away did you live from the Glen House, which is in Girardeau?
It's about 30 miles.
Okay. Oh, growing up, like, before you became an adult, when you said you were a teenager and this and that, had you heard about the Glen House? Had you heard any stories, just out of curiosity?
Yes, I've had a lot of friends that have visited there and taken the tour and went during the spooky season. Uh, Christy always did like a spooky season tour where she would take people through the city and give them kind of a historic um look into what the city was. And in that historic tour, a lot of them would visit the Glen House also. So I also had other friends that visited the Glen House on those events, and many of them had experiences.
Yeah.
So it was by word of mouth. Uh, it's kind of known for that.
There's Christy joined us right now. Looks like she's taking a tour of the city right now on a bus or something.
Yeah, I'm out doing tour guide duties tonight, but I'm coming back. I just took a group of people to the Limp Mansion in St. Louis, so we're on our way back from the Limp Mansion.
Oh, nice. How far is that from Cape Girardeau?
About 2 hours. St. Louis to
Okay.
Cape, about 2 hours.
I don't think I've ever been to St. Louis. Well, welcome, Christy.
I'm
Thanks.
super glad to be here.
Yeah,
Heard
thanks
a little bit of the intro.
No, it's fine. We were just chit-chatting, trying to figure out how everybody got into the paranormal. Christy, why don't you just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, how long you've been, I guess, curating at the Glen House, how you got involved in that, and whatever else.
Well, sure. So I kind of laugh because I think I've been the most probably reluctant of all of us to be involved with the paranormal. It just seems to kind of find me. I have been involved with the Glen House, I guess, since about 2000 on and off as a volunteer. But I started doing haunted history tours in around 2004 of Cape Girardeau. Um, and it's my feedback loop coming.
It's not perfect. It's fine.
But in any case, I always say that the Glen House is one of those places that even if you say you're a non-believer, if you hang out there long enough, it will certainly make you into a believer. um, So just the more time that you spend there, I think it's inevitable that you'll begin to have experiences. When you start trying to explain those experiences, and the answers get weirder than it just might be haunted, you kind of have to back up and realize that there might not be things we fully understand.
Yeah, so I'm gonna back up a little bit. I met Jimmy at the Euro Shrine in Bristol, Tennessee, and we just did a one interview for that series we did there, and then I kind of kept with Jimmy, and he mentioned a few places to me about potentially investigating, and he was pretty high on the Glen House, and where I live in North Carolina, I was like, man, that's a pretty long drive because when I go and do these shoots, like I like to take like the majority of my gear, and it's hard to fly with, and take all that gear and your stuff not break. So, but anyway, I'm glad that he, he kind of mentioned it and brought it up. And, before we started talking about anything, Chrissy, I want to just, again, I know I said it before, but I'll say it again. Thank you guys for allowing us to go and invade the house for 2 days. I mean, it's such a beautiful house, and it was so peaceful. And I have fond memories of just being there for those 2 days and never felt threatened or anything. But yeah, just thank you for allowing us to do what we did.
I think it's an interesting thing. My day job is in education, higher education. I've worked in that arena for about 30 years. And I think when we talk about history and the preservation of historic places, for 50 years, the Glen House has been a house museum. And for about 90 years, the Glen House has been the subject of a lot of community ghost stories. So at a certain point in the sort of like cultural zeitgeist, I guess, to use fancy words, the ghost stories become a part of that history. And so I sort of think it's our duty when we preserve these places to share it with folks like you guys that are interested in the paranormal, just as much as it is our duty to share it with people who are interested in preserving just the straight history, so to speak. Right? So we're always glad to have you guys. And, I'm curious. I typically want explanations. So I'm always hoping you explain some things to me.
Yeah. Were you able to watch both parts, part one and part two of the series or the documentary, Christy?
I was, and it's so interesting because, I just have seen some of these guys. I haven't been back in contact with you, but I said, when I started into part one, I felt like you guys really hit it on the head because there was no assumption that the house was haunted. Uh, and so I walked into part two not really knowing what you were going to find either. And it was interesting to watch it all unfold.
Yeah, it really was. And I at this point, I've been shooting. Well, I've been filming for a long time, but I didn't start filming the paranormal kind of documentaries and stuff about until about 5 years ago. And so I've done quite a few of them at this point, documentaries and series. And when I leave places, I'm a perfectionist, and when I leave places, I'm like, I know we're going to get, well, I try to get good interviews. I try to get really good B-roll, like video of the place, because if you don't get any paranormal evidence, at least you can fall back on the stories of other people's experiences and the history and whatever, you know what I'm saying? But I tend to find the majority of these locations that we go to that when I come back and start putting it together, you just catch way more paranormal evidence when you're actually editing it and putting it together than you even realize in real time when you're actually filming and shooting and doing the investigations. And with this one, I was like really, really surprised at the amount of voices that we got that we didn't hear in real time, and the bangs and the noises and the other things. So I'm excited for people to see this, and I think that what we are putting out in part one and part two is just going to back up anybody's claims that there's definitely spirits there. I mean, you can't deny it, right?
Well, it was really funny. I watched part one, and I have told all of you guys, and I know I said it to you when you came in. I said, I don't know how to explain this about this particular house, and I'm going to sound sexist against my own sex here, but everybody knows that woman that, like, she's pretty enough in person, but man, you look at her through a camera, and she's just gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
There's something that's just so camera ready. And the Glen House itself really has that aspect. It loves a camera. And so from the minute, like, the stuff that you shot at night, but the minute you did those shots, like, through the house, and you look at it, it's weird because it's like there's charisma. If a house can have charisma, it
Yeah.
just pops with the camera. So it's funny for me to see the personalities come out even before the story started unfolding.
I know. I don't want to give too much away because I want people to head over to the Scare Network and watch this on Friday. We're gonna drop part one on Friday, and I think I may release it like Friday at midnight, like Thursday night into Friday morning. So it may be, it's going to be available all day Friday, and then we're going to do the same thing with part two the following Friday. So anybody that's interested in the Glen House, interested in paranormal in general, I highly encourage this, because I mean, again, Christy, thank you. You gave great history, great stories, and which helped kind of to carry the pieces and stuff. So I'm thankful and I'm grateful for that. And then
Well,
I'm
and
just, go ahead.
I appreciate you saying that, because I always feel like I'm going to get so nerdy and give you way more information than you want, or sometimes I'm afraid I'm going to say the wrong and like too much information, and it's going to kind of pollute the investigation, because I don't want to
Yeah.
lead on any roads, right? So it's a fine line. I do laugh because I had another very weird thing happen, and while you're doing the promotional stuff, some of you guys have seen this video, but I have a video of something that happened to me on August 30th, long after you shot, that I need to share with you so you can share with folks as you're promoting it, because I'm still looking for answers about that.
Uh-huh.
And I'm happy to tell you the news story if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
So it's been really hot here in Southeast Missouri, as it has kind of all over.
Hmm.
And the heat broke. We had a storm like August 29th, and August 30th was beautiful. It was about 70 degrees. Sun was shining. So it was a weekend. I went into the house and I opened up all the doors and the shutters. And when the sunlight came in, of course, like any old house, I could see all the cobwebs and the dust. And so I thought, well, I'm not going to probably have any visitors. It's such a pretty day. Nobody's going to want to come here. And so I was like, I'll just clean. So I went out to the carriage house and I grabbed, and you probably saw it when you were there, the little Bluetooth speaker that I keep out there. It's old. It was setting
Hmm.
up by the old cash register in the carriage house. I pulled it in the house and I put on a little cleaning kind of old timey appropriate playlist, but something up tempo, and got the broom and went in to knock down cobwebs. And so I was in there and I had plugged the speaker in just in case the battery was low. And while I'm cleaning the chandelier, I hear do 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 do, and it turns off. And I was like, well, I know I plugged it in, but I thought maybe the little USB cord was loose or something, right? And
Hmm.
so I was cleaning those chandeliers and trying to be really careful so I didn't hit the glass. So I pulled the broom down, set it down, and it went da 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 and turned back on before I even turned around. And I was like, oh well, it was just a little short, or maybe the power flickered, whatever. So I started cleaning again, and a few seconds later, it did it again. And that time I stopped, just kind of waiting to see if it was going to come back on. And it was really quiet. And I thought, okay, it's dead, right? And all of a sudden, through from the other room, I hear help coming through the speaker.
Hmm. What?
And I thought, no, 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 no. I didn't hear that, right?
Yeah.
Then I hear da 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 da, and the speaker turns back on. And I was like, what is going on? So I stand there a minute, music plays, start cleaning again, da 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 da, speaker turns back off. I turn around and I had the speaker in the entry. There's a little entry table, and it was sitting on a chair beside the table. And I looked first; it was plugged in, and then I looked at there's a reader screen on it, and the screen said off. And I was like, okay, it's just powering down. I was looking at it, and it said help again. I grabbed my phone off that table and I was going to the front porch, and I went to take a picture, but I had it on video mode. So I videoed as I was backing out the front door. You can clearly see in the video that the screen says off. And as I
Hmm.
was backing out the door, it said one more time, help.
Oh gosh.
And then it turned off, like no more sound out of it. So I've taken that. I've shared it with some local radio stations. They're going to run the sound through a sound processing file. They've got the serial numbers on the speaker. I was trying to figure out, could somebody have Bluetoothed into my speaker, right? But the only thing that speaker says is, please charge, the battery is low. Um, and it isn't programmed to say help. It doesn't say on or off. It just makes that little noise and it tells you to charge it. So I can't figure out how the word help so clearly came out. And Jeff has heard it. He watched it a couple times when we were in Kentucky. And I tried to get him to give me a reason to not believe that it was real.
Yeah.
um, but so far, I have not come up with a logical explanation for that one. And I did spend the rest of the afternoon on the porch unless I had visitors in the house.
Well, you also should, on a Bluetooth speaker, you should have to mash the button to get it to connect to somebody else's device. So I don't see how somebody else's device could connect to it without you hitting the button to connect.
And
The crazy thing about it is it tells you it's off. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we got the word help too. I'm telling you that we got so much evidence, like it kind of all runs together. But I think that we did get the word help. I can't remember if it was an EVP or through the spirit box. I can't remember, but I think we did. So that's kind of weird. I'll have to go back and look. But that's a crazy story. Yeah.
And I want to say something right quick, if I can, Billy. I want to thank Kevin for actually leading me to the Glenn House, because when I come up there and done a music video with him and Leland Chapman come up there to the Glenn House with us, and then Jeff for going up there with us. I mean, we all work together as a good team. Christy, thank you for all the interviews and the stuff you done for us.
Well, sorry to interrupt, Jimmy, but it's funny because I was actually going to ask that question next. I was going to say, how did this kind of come about? And Kevin, were you saying to Jimmy that you felt like maybe we should go up there and do a bigger piece versus just a regular paranormal investigation on the Glenn House?
Well, the Glenn House is kind of special to me because like I said in the doc, I feel at home everywhere I go. The Glenn House is actually at my home, and it's the only place that I go to where I feel like I'm a guest. It kind of has its own life. You know, it's lived many lives throughout its time, and it's part of what draws you there. Not only that, but it's a historic look into the past also. So it's just a special place to me. Everybody around here knows about it. I feel like also a lot of these places, I don't feel like one night is enough to really experience the place. And, you know, as you all know, the energy can change very quickly. It may be hot for a while and it may go cold. So I wanted to give it enough time to kind of let its magic unfold.
Yeah, it's you know, when I go into places like that, especially that, you know, house built in 1883, you know, I try to put myself, like you said, live many lives. That's a good description of it, because it's like I try to think about, because where I live in Wilmington, North Carolina, there's quite a few houses downtown that were built around the same time, and I've been in those. So I try to imagine myself and what it would be like. I mean, you're talking about not 150 years, but that house was built a long time ago. And it's pretty amazing to me to think about the Mississippi River right there. And as much as many towns over the years that the Mississippi's have flooded, I mean, you know, that the Glenn House is I mean, fires. I mean, the fact that it's still standing is a testament of maybe of good luck and other stuff. So
It's been hit by a tornado twice and managed to stay standing. I think I told you all in the beginning, whenever, so we started social media for the house in 2012. And it wasn't long after that we got an email from a girl by the name of Sarah March Glenn, and she's a best-selling young adult paranormal author. I'm sure she will jump on and watch this on Scare when it comes out, because I'm pretty sure she's already watched the first episode or the first section. But she was writing to us at the time because she had gone on to our Pinterest page. She was writing a book that was going to be about a haunted Victorian mansion, was looking for inspiration for her book, found the perfect image of the house in her head, printed it out, put it on her inspiration board in her office, and her grandfather happened to visit. And he said, "Where did you get a picture of my mother's house?" So she wrote us to say, "I think you are in charge of my family's home." Have a seat on our board, but it's hard to explain the sort of magnetism of how the house seems to draw people to it. I think what you just said about like letting its magic unfold, it does have a tendency. The people who come in that are the people that it's pulling, you will come back. People do come back repeatedly, and they all kind of have that sort of strange attraction to the house. And I don't know of a better way or another place that seems to have that effect on people.
yeah, no, that's all well said. Let me actually play the trailer real quick for anyone who may be watching. Let's play the trailer and then we'll come back and talk a little bit more about the house and just about what we did over the couple of days that we were there. So let's play this real quick.
Whose room was this?
Right there.
The house was built in the 1880s by a prominent local architect. His name was Edwin Branch Dean, for his daughter Lula when she married David Glenn.
This house has its own personality. It's had a long life. It's had many lives here, and you can kind of feel the energy when you walk in.
I actually seen a little girl standing at the top balcony looking down at us. By the time I said something to the tour guide, she just went away.
They lost 3 or 4 children that Lula would have had and didn't live into adulthood.
Say mama.
You have to sort of bend your brain and say, okay, I think ghosts are real, and certainly here in this house.
Closet. I was the only one in the house. I said, hello, who's here? Out of the corner of my eye, in the upper left corner of the doorway, there was a large, very dark circle. As soon as I looked at it, it darted up the stairs.
I feel at home anywhere I go. I don't feel that way here. I feel like I'm a guest.
I do feel that spirits are here.
There is definitely paranormal stuff going on in here.
The ghost stories have become a part of the history of the house as well.
Did you hear that back there?
I think there are spirits here, that there's something going on. There's too many things that's happened for me to not believe otherwise.
The ghost stories tend to follow a line with the Glens.
I'm here to be friends with you. You want to be friends?
I feel like based off of this investigation that it was the Glenn family still here.
All right, everybody like the trailer?
I love it.
Yeah,
I
cool.
My wife said she didn't like the music. I said, well, I didn't want to put like hard, scary music into it to kind of make the house look like a monster, even though it's its own character. I wanted to put something a little bit not as scary as I normally do. So, but
I love that. Haunted is a harsh word. Ghosts, I don't know about that, but they need to watch and see how that ends up for Josh. But
yeah, and So I went back and fixed Josh's name. God, I don't know how I completely misspelled his name. But anyways, I went and fixed it.
I do it to him all the time. Spell check will catch it and just switch it on you because
I think that's what happened. So
he
I
is
feel
a
bad.
helper. So that's easy to get Kepler and helper.
He had some great stories. And he gave a really good interview too. So I'm really glad that he came in and gave us that interview.
The thing is I've heard a lot of different people that don't know each other tell the same stories of different types of experiences there that we did not experience. So you could go back there again and experience a whole nother realm of the place and get different activity. That's the thing about the place. I think, we had a lot of EVPs and they were very responsive, and they seem to be intelligent responses too.
Direct responses. Christy, has there ever been, whether it's a like just a guest touring the house, or even maybe a paranormal group or anyone else actually go in the house and actually get really scared and really frightened and I don't want to say feel threatened, but has there ever been a time where somebody's kind of felt very uncomfortable and maybe had to leave and stuff? I'm sure there's a lot of stories, but
Yeah, there are some folks who work in the television realm who wrote books after their experiences at the house, where they said that the house was a place they never wanted to come back to. And I think
really,
after the circuit, I have told people someone got scratched during production of one of those shows. And it was, I can truly vouch for it scaring the person at the time. Now, by and large, the house doesn't feel negative. Um, I am I am more creeped out just because I'm afraid of the dark. I mean, you'll hear me say I'm a chicken. So it doesn't take a lot when something happens to me to make me decide I'll just go out to the porch. But for those of you guys who do this all the time, to see somebody really kind of get the snot scared out of them is a relatively new experience. But he writes about it. He talks about it at cons. Um, there was just something that made them feel very unwelcome. By and large, what I find interesting is when any Glenn descendant enters the house, they will almost tell you that it smells like warm cookies and it welcomes them home, right? The rest of us tend to feel a bit like an uninvited guest. It's like you've I've come into your house without you saying I could use the front door, right? And I'm walking around just waiting for you to come around the corner and say, what are you doing? The Glenn family members don't really have that impression. And but we've lost a lot of volunteers over the years because you're very traditional folks that want to be docents at a history museum, don't really enjoy the slamming doors and the music that turns on by itself, or a Bluetooth speaker that decides to cry for help. That it usually takes about one time for something like that to happen, and I never see that volunteer again.
yeah. Well, I was kind of in between what you said, between the Glens and others who, like, I never felt uncomfortable. I just thought the house was just so beautiful, and it photographed or videoed, photographed, or whatever you want to call it, really well. And like Kevin said, I mean, some of the responses we got, I mean, Jimmy asking, just as you saw in the trailer, the question, do you want to be my friend? And you clearly hear I do. I mean, it's like, how do you deny that? And where did that come from? Because, in the actual documentary itself, I show the whole time of when we recorded that EVP. There's like 4 or 5 seconds afterwards, and nobody's moving, nobody's saying anything. So that right there is pretty undeniable, and to me is some of the strongest paranormal evidence I feel like you can gather is getting a voice back on a recorder when nobody says anything.
I feel like we
I think
missed.
there are definitely.
Go ahead, Christy. I feel like some of the responses we got, I wasn't really thinking at the time because I feel like I kind of overlooked some of them because we were getting responses from Sarah, and I kind of let it just go in one ear and out the other. And a lot of those responses, whenever I watch back on it, were responses like that would corroborate with the character Sarah. So I kind of overlooked that at the time in the moment, but it makes me really curious now.
I know.
It's interesting that you said that because I think it depends on the room you're in, right? There. So the responses that you get to things in the children's room and the way that it feels can be very different than the types of responses that I've seen groups get across the hall in Lula's room or across the hall in the gentleman's bedroom or downstairs in the front parlor. And more than once, because we have had a lot of groups come in, I've been told that there are a lot of different people in that house. Um, and so I think who you get and how you feel in some ways is based on who happens to be around or in front of you at the time you're asking questions. Um, there are definitely childlike spirits that are very friendly and always want to, to everybody. That's a common answer, guys. That like, do you want to be my friend? I want to be your friend. Like the tugging on people's skirts, like play with me. That kind of energy definitely exists. But so does sort of less friendly, protective energy in those same spaces. Like don't bother my child kind of energy.
Yeah,
That's
I
like
mean,
that one room we was in too. Whose room it was, and it said David's.
well, in that same room too, I don't want to give away too much because this is actually in part two, but um, we got a reference to one of the Lula and David's young children that passed away, Henry. I mean, he says his name, and that was on AVP, and we didn't even catch it in real time. Like we never even heard that when it actually happened. So
Yeah, that's what me and Jimmy was talking about the other day. I was like, man, it's interesting because we didn't go through the evidence to see what was caught.
yeah,
You Billy, you did that, so it was a surprise to us to see it also.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. When I put these together, first off, it's very time consuming. And I'm sure, we shoot with multiple cameras too. And it's not like I don't have time to go through every camera. Let's say if we do one investigation and it's an hour, you got 4 cameras, you're talking about 3 or 4 hours. So I'm sure that I miss a lot. I actually know that I probably miss a lot of evidence because I can't sit there and watch every single frame and every single thing. But I was very surprised by a lot of the disembodied voices that we got too. I don't know if I've ever heard a disembodied voice with my own ear, but my cameras dang sure picked it up a lot when I go back and edit and stuff. That's always kind of freaky too. Like the one that I put in the trailer talking about Jeff Get Low. I don't know, that didn't really have any meaning, and somebody else may have heard something else, but that's when I hear that, I play it back probably 20 times. So that's what kept coming back to me. So that's why I put it in there. But somebody else's ear may hear something else, but it's like, what does that even mean?
Well, that could have been. Sorry, Jeff. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Honestly, that could have been something we was talking about or something, and it just picked up and said it, or in general talk, or
yeah.
Well, if you remember when we was in that room, but I don't believe it ain't on the thing, but it actually was telling us about somebody getting shot down on the corner of the road.
Yeah, 600 block.
Yep. It was coming through the spirit box.
We did talk about that a little bit, but was it up in the children's room or down in the red carpet room? I can't remember. But the disembodied voice came through in the children's room, but we did talk about that shooting.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was in the children's room. Anyways, I thought that's crazy. The disembodied voices. So and it's like, we do these things, the amount of paranormal evidence that we got is kind of overwhelming. And that's why I get so excited for people to watch it, because I feel like people need to watch it a couple of times just to be able to absorb everything we got, and to kind of take it all in. And I mean, and you're right, Jimmy. If you really think about it, if somebody got shot, maybe a spirit saying, get low, like duck from like a bullet or something like that. But that's just that's how we just try to piece things together to try to make it make sense in the paranormal world.
As a person who's not on any of these teams, for a lay person, right? I don't think a lot of folks realize, because when you watch a documentary or when you watch one of the ghost shows, you get the edited cut. And the business of ghost hunting, I'll be the first to tell you, I tell stories, but I don't have the patience to sit in the dark. I know how much time you put into it, and then do the hours and hours and hours of review, because all that footage, it's a lot of work. And so I also, I would tell anybody that has an interest in this stuff, I'm glad people like you guys exist, because I'm interested in it now because of the house, but I sure as hell don't want to do what you guys do in order to capture all this. And the precision, we were talking about this at the convention that I went to that Jeff was at this last weekend. In this sort of community of filmmakers, documentarians, and those teams, y'all trade on your reputation. And everybody knows everybody else's sort of like reputation. And the people who sort of fudge things or are sloppy in how they investigate, folks generally know that. And after being around this for over 20 years, I can tell it when crews come in. If they're drinking, if they don't take it seriously, if they don't set their equipment, if they don't calibrate. And so when you came in from the very get-go, you set your stuff down and it was business, 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 right? Like you had stuff to get. You guys all had a plan on how, sort of methodically you were going to go through it. And as the historical site, the amount of confidence that gives me. And then when you all shared the tapes before you put them out there, we on our end appreciate that.
Yeah.
But you're also not overly, like, you're not telling me we've got demons in the house. And really, you don't answer the questions. The questions, if anything, I have more questions watching this than I did going in. But I think that's great. I have the questions because I have confidence in what you guys did. So we appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I try to go into every location, whether it be a beautiful house like this, or even if it's like a psychiatric hospital that's been abandoned for 50 years. I try to go in with the utmost respect. I mean, I don't want to go in there disrespecting, because I know a lot of bad things and death and stuff happen at those places. And there's I don't want any bad juju, and B, I think you have to be, that's just the way that I do things. It's just to try to be respectful and whatnot. And then with something like this too, which I think we try to touch on a little bit at the end. I mean, one of my big goals is A, to get a great documentary, but B, is to tell the history and be able to preserve that, and to just raise awareness for the Glenn House itself. And I hope that people maybe get some eyes on this documentary and are intrigued and want to go and take a tour and donate and possibly volunteer if they're in the area or whatever. So that's my biggest thing too. And I want that house to be around for another 100 years, God willing. So
I think like, to jump back for just a second, when you got that EVP that said Jeff get low, we were in the children's room and Jeff had been asking if there were any kids that wanted to play. So I didn't take that as a threatening thing, like Jeff get low. I took it like, hey, come down here, get low.
That's a good analysis. See, if you'd have told me that, I would have re-interviewed you and stuck that in there, Kevin.
And saying the bad thing is where you get that on the voice recorder and you don't hear it. You then after you find it, you feel bad. You like, the kid might have wanted to play. I didn't hear it to get, on my
Yeah.
knees or something to play with the kid. I mean,
And
it's
that
like you missed the
that
opportunity.
that specific one literally happened within 5 seconds of us rolling or hitting record in that room. So we hadn't even done an intro. We hadn't even told anybody where we were. So you hear that as we're getting set up, getting ready to speak and talk about where we're at. So I felt like that was even more intriguing for that one. But yeah, Christy, going back to what you said, I mean, yeah, me and Jimmy have actually had conversations. There's some investigators and some others we could have brought in there that would have been screaming demon. No, it's not rhyme time. It's not rhyme time, but they would have been screaming demon no matter where they go. And so I'm just so glad to have been able to work with these three guys at this specific location and get what we got, because I felt it was really genuine. And look, I'm not a paranormal investigator, but I've been around it enough now. I'm a filmmaker first and foremost, but I've been around enough paranormal stuff that I kind of know how it works. So I can kind of put myself in there. And, I don't try to be flamboyant and I'll cut stuff out if I don't feel it's 50-50. Like with some EVPs, I'm like, oh, did I really hear? Is there? My philosophy is I'll put it out and let the public make a judgment on whether they hear it or not. And we may get criticized for it, but at least you put the evidence out and people can make their own judgments on it. So, but I felt like what we were able to gather over 2 days is pretty cool evidence. And like Jeff said at the end of the trailer, I mean, there's no doubt that it's got to be the Glens and others associated with that house that are still kind of roaming around.
Hey, Javarson, I can't comment in the chat, but we got Javarson and Eric, and I don't know if you're still on here, Byron Cherry from the Dukes of Hazzard. Hey, guys, I can see your comments. I just can't comment back.
Yeah, I'm commenting on my other phone.
Oh, nice. Jimmy, did you share the live out?
Yes.
Okay.
And
cool.
If we'd had, I know we was there 2 nights. We got a lot of stuff. If we was there this, like, say, a week, just imagine what evidence we'd have got.
We probably could have gotten a 10-part series out of that.
And I told Billy whenever me and Billy talked for the first time about doing this, I said, Billy, if you want us to record for you and do this, I said, one thing about us, we will not fake anything. So when you watch this documentary, everything that we got is 100% real. I mean, we didn't stage nothing. We didn't.
Speaking of that, if you guys hear any bad words that come out of my mouth on this, Billy is going to edit them out. All guys right now.
Oh, well, that's in part 2. We're not releasing that next week. I'll go and make an edit change for you, Kevin, if you want to.
Oh, that's the best part, Billy.
You want me to leave it in?
Yeah,
I'll
leave
it. Christy, has any of the other like board members or volunteers said anything to you since we released the trailer and some of these teasers that have been out for a couple of weeks about wishing that they would have come and like done an interview with us? Because I know that others had said they were going to come and do interviews and they just never ended up showing up to do the on-camera interviews.
No, it is funny because we aren't a haunted attraction. Now, we've certainly done enough of these TV shows, but walk a fine line. I mean, the folks who volunteer are superintendents in schools, right? They're librarians. I have a professional day job, and there is still a little bit of a stigma. We live in the Midwest in the Bible Belt, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's very hard. There's a reluctance to talk about things on camera. Now, people have gotten far more open than they were 20 years ago about talking about these things. But there's still just a little bit of reluctance to be filmed because you're
Yeah.
always afraid somebody's going to think you've lost your mind. However, they all now are watching it and they share it and they will have conversations off campus. I actually had last night a group from a major car manufacturer. It was all of their executives from their factories here in the United States that came, and the number of questions I got with true interest. And I can't imagine that sort of thing happening among professional people publicly 10 years ago even. So I think the culture is changing, but it is still sort of a tricky thing. Once you say I believe in ghosts, people are like, yeah. Even
Yeah.
though you and the other polls say something like 80% of Americans do, right? It's different to mark that checkbox on a poll and be anonymous than it is to put your butt in front of the camera and say, yeah, I've had these experiences that I can't explain.
Me and Jimmy run into that a lot around our area down here about the Bible Belt.
Well, I think if anyone is remotely interested in the paranormal and ghost, and if they have an open mind, if they were to watch something like we produced, then I think that will be proof that there are spirits there. And it's not like, you're going to see them with your own eyes. I mean, when I first started shooting the paranormal stuff, I was very naive. I really was. I mean, I'd go to some locations and I'd walk around by myself with the camera. I'm like, hey, I'm like, I'm just going to catch a ghost or a shadow figure or whatever on camera. And it just doesn't work that way. You have to, there's different means of communication that you have to implement at these locations, and then people have to take that for what it is and either believe it or not believe it. And so I feel like, well, of course I edited it, put it together and all that too, but I mean, the evidence we got is overwhelming, and you can't deny that there's spirits and something going on in that house.
There's a really great book, and my bus just got back into Cape, so I'll be leaving you
Okay.
in a second.
Okay, that's
But
fine.
there's a super great book, and it's an older book, and I believe it's called Ghost Hunter. And it was written by a science writer who I think got kind of stuck covering the subject. And she looks at like the spiritualist movement of the 1800s and early 1900s. And she goes back through like all the psychics and the ghost stories. And she truly finds a way to debunk about 99.8% of the stories, right? But it is that other 1+% that in the end haunts her. And I think for most of us that have had these experiences, even if we're not fully sure what it is or where we stand, once you have experienced that 1%, 90% of what you found might be ambient noise or whatever. But if 10% of it is real,
Yeah.
that 10% is not to be funny, but it's haunting.
Yeah.
And that's enough reason to watch the documentary in and of
Yeah.
itself.
Well,
So,
Christy, before you get off, I just want to say thank you, and I've spoken to Kevin and Jimmy a little bit. I mean, I doubt that I'd be able to make it, but I'd love for you guys to actually put on some kind of event or something at the house. Maybe show part one and then tell everybody to go watch part two on the platform. But just kind of to a fundraiser event or something. I think that would be cool to actually watch it at the house and invite people to come and donate, because like I said, that's my goal. Is I want people to donate and help keep this house going and help you guys out. So you guys definitely have my blessing to be able to do something like that. If you get it organized, it doesn't necessarily have to be in October, just whenever, just let me know and I'll get the file and whatever I can get to help you guys out.
well, we appreciate it, and we've been talking about it, and that is definitely in the plans. If you do release it as a plan on October 3rd, if you're in this area, I will be at the house, and we're doing what we're going to call bare bones ghost tours, which means I'm going to leave the house dark. I'm going to give you some dowsing rods or an a meter or two, whatever you want to use, and we're going to go in and talk about the ghost stories in about hour-long increments and see what people find themselves. So it's a good thing to do, and if they wanted to go home and watch the documentary afterward, we certainly wouldn't be upset about that. So
Oh yeah. So y'all are going to actually be in the Glenn house on
we're
Friday
going to
doing
be at
that?
the house. I'll be there 7 to 10 that night. So watch it before or watch it after, but come to the house and then come check out watch part 1 while it's out, and then
Yeah.
house and then go watch part 2. But we're still for sure going to keep working on a formal event. So
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Tell everybody that's at the event on Friday if they haven't heard about it to go and check it out and let us know what they think. I always love feedback, but yeah, Christy, if you want to jump off or if you need to
I
jump
do.
off.
And hey, I so look forward to seeing all you guys again in the future. I'm really easy to find. My socials are open. The Glenn houses are open. So I would love to hear what people think as they watch the documentary. Message us, reach out to me. We're happy to answer any questions, and we're happy to show you around the house if you're ever in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. So see you
All right.
guys.
All right, see you,
Thank you so
Christy.
much, Christy.
Hey, Christy.
Have a good night. Thank you. All right. All right, Jeff, now you got the floor. I mean, you need to stop talking so much, Jeff. Let somebody else talk.
Hey, I'm good. Everybody knows I'm the quiet one.
That's why
All
I
right.
stay in trouble.
All right.
So I stay out of trouble.
So let's talk a little bit more about part 1 because Jeff hasn't seen part 2 yet. Slacker. But does anything? I mean, I know they both run together, but if you guys can kind of take yourself back. Now, remember, solos were in part 2, but anything in part 1 stand out to you guys? Again, we don't want to give too much away, so we can just kind of be vague with stuff. But is there anything that you specifically remember about that first night and pretty much part 1 that y'all want to chat about?
Yeah, I feel like when we got there, it was almost the energy changed. When we got there at first, nothing was happening. It was cold. I felt like we were being watched. And then when we got further into the investigation, it started getting hot real quick. We started getting a lot of activity. You guys remember that?
Started warming up to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our first investigation was in the children's room, and we weren't getting many responses, and much didn't come through on that. Now we were getting some of the spirit energies or orbs or whatever you want to call it, but those, I don't know how much stock I put in those. I put them in the piece, but I don't. Who knows, man? I know that's a big debate about a lot of people who try to debunk stuff. So I don't. That's why I didn't make a big deal out of. I'd put the airfoil on them and stuff. It very well could have been dust, but anyways. But you're right. I felt like once we left the children's room that first night, I didn't feel much in there. Then we went over to Lula's room and got the EVP, which you saw on the trailer, Mama, and that foot warmer fell down, and Kevin, you kept mentioning that you were getting colder over there, or your back was getting cold or something.
Well, I felt like there was something behind me, and I had a lot of clothes on, and my back suddenly just got ice cold. And Jimmy thought he saw a shadow, and then I think we started getting a lot more activity.
Kind of like in the kitchen. When we went in the kitchen there, we got stuff down in the kitchen we couldn't never explain and still can't explain it.
The kitchen or the cellar?
At the dining table.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We started there. I'm sorry. Yeah, I got ahead of myself. We did start there and then went upstairs. I forgot about that. Yeah, that bang, which was it almost sounded like, which is in the trailer, almost sounded like if you had like a little hammer or something hard like a hammer and you hit that old furnace. That's what it sounded like. And I never got an explanation.
Now here's where like everybody can hear something and think it's different, but to me it sounded like a door latching. when it's shut.
Yeah, and you had thought that door had kind of creeped. This proves my point about how I don't just throw anything in there. You had thought that door would open itself, but I clearly saw the door. You didn't latch that door back good, so it just kind of opened up on its own. So I never even put that in the documentary because it wasn't, it wasn't paranormal. And as I was telling Jimmy the other day too, the foot warmer thing, I know Jimmy had kind of tapped it beforehand, so that could have possibly been when it fell on its own from where Jimmy had didn't reestablish it the correct where it was or whatever. So what else? Anything else about that night?
Well, we checked the closet that night because actually we thought it come from the closet.
Yeah, and it said closet right before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like I said, you can, like us four can hear that same noise, but think it's something different. So
yeah.
And yeah, and that banging noise, I mean, it very well, that could be something Christy and them hear all the time. I'm still right now, I'm not going to say that's paranormal. That could be that old furnace, not just kicking on, but doing something. That may be a sound they hear in there. And so, that's why I left it in there. Going back to what I said earlier, there's a lot of evidence and stuff that I don't try to convince people one way or the other, but I present it, and then you let other people make their own assertions as to whether they feel like that's paranormal or if it's just a reasonable explanation for it.
But I don't think anything in the house is there to harm anybody. And it's like you was talking earlier, some people would go in there and holler this and that, but
yeah,
I think the house is more of a common warm spirits that's in there, and that welcomes you in there and wants to communicate with you. They got to warm up to you and get to know you before they like us. I mean, when we first went in there, we didn't get nothing until we showed them we was there not to harm them. We was there just to communicate with them. And
it's like a family atmosphere.
Yeah.
So I got a clip. I mean, this is from part 2, but it doesn't matter. I think Jimmy's put it out anyway. So let's watch this.
Oh Lord. All right. I am not coming up here to disrespect you. Whoa, shit, man. My ICU box got me really good. It really.
You know what's bad? I set that sucker up there myself, and I believe we left and went to eat, and then we come back and done that solo.
Probably. But that's on night 2 though, so yeah. Everybody's got to watch the first part before.
Yeah, and you see more on part 2. So you got to get part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, so we're going to release this on Friday. Like I said, I think I may put it set it to release tomorrow night at midnight, Friday into Friday morning. So anybody watching, hopefully people will go and kind of check it out and give us some feedback too. Like I just want to know what people think about it. I think we did a pretty good job of kind of telling the history and telling stories and whatnot, and then mixing in the paranormal investigation too. So
I thought it was really good. Had a lot of fun doing it.
Everybody did it except for Jeff.
Jeff was always the one up there. We couldn't get him quit running his mouth. He was talking too much.
I know. I'm like, Jeff, shut up so we can hear the spirits.
Can't help it.
Nah, I'm
It's
joking.
hard. It's just hard to get the word in with Jimmy around, so I've learned to be quiet.
Hey, Billy, do you actually got that one part? You need to show that one part where I don't know who done it. I mean, I know I didn't do it.
So that I actually do. This is in part 2, but we'll play it anyway. It is so funny because we need to talk about it.
Billy, do
Right now. Are you the spirit that said "Mama" last night?
Only one moved in that whole time was Jeff.
Wasn't me.
Hey, Billy, can you give? Can you tell the viewers how to get Scare Network? I know I've had a lot of people ask.
Yes. So Scare Network, if you're on a computer or you're web browsing, you just type in ScareNetwork.tv. That's the website, ScareNetwork.tv instead of like .com. And then we have apps. If you see the bottom, like if you have a Roku TV at home, just go to your store, your Roku store, and search Scare Network, or Apple. Like you can download like right here. So we have the app, the Scare Network app. This is an iPhone. We have it on Google. We've got it on, if you have a Fire TV, Amazon Fire TV, but we got a ton. I literally have hundreds of movies on the platform now. So the website, apps, and to watch this, you'll have to subscribe. It's only $4.99 a month. You can cancel anytime. There's no contracts or anything, so you can, subscribe, watch this, and cancel when they're done. But yeah, I mean, like I've told Jimmy, like every little bit of support helps, so we can continue to make these types of documentaries and stuff. So yeah, not only watch, but yeah, like Nancy said, feedback too. Like I want to be able to improve as a filmmaker and as a storyteller as well. So
yeah, and if somebody got locations that they might want us to investigate, bring Scare Network on board and record. I mean, holler at us.
Yeah, so Javarson, I hope that answered your question about the Scare Network. And same, I mean, if you just Google Scare Network, I mean, it should have links to the apps and everything else too, and the website and all that good stuff. Let me see if I have another teaser clip that we can play. Here's our poster to these 3 Rugrats. I don't know who those guys are.
Like a bunch of outlaws.
Here's a behind the scenes shot. The kitchen. And then this was our last investigation of night 1 right here, which we got some pretty good responses out there. That's where I got quite a few disembodied voices too.
Yep.
Let me see if there's another teaser. Let me get off of that.
I remember it was cold that night.
Yeah, we shot this the end of January, right? So it was free coming off the Mississippi
River was frozen.
But in that room, those voices were claiming to be Sarah, and they were wanting one of those cigars I had. And I read somewhere that Sarah liked cigars.
Well, no, that's a separate room. This is the front parlor. That was in you're thinking about the red carpet room.
Yeah, the
with
red
big
carpet.
piano. Yeah. That's a night 2 or part 2. I'm sorry. Well, night 2, part 2, whatever. About the cigar thing. We got some direct responses for that when you pulled out that cigar too. So that's crazy. People have to tune in and watch that. But here, here's, this was in the trailer, but the trailer is really short. But here's that whole clip on the really cool voice that we got. A direct response from Jimmy. This will be in part 1 right here. Let's watch this real quick.
I'm here to be friends with you. You want to be friends? What is that? I don't know. It's like a swallow.
I'm here to be friend.
Yep.
You can hear it says, I do.
Yeah, that was late too. That was probably like 2 o'clock in the morning. Not that that really matters. It's not like the time matters when you get an EVP or anything. I was just for reference because that was our fourth investigation in night one. So I know we were all kind of tired at
I
that
was
point.
just surprised someone wanted to be Jimmy's friend.
I know.
Exactly. I mean, that goes without saying, right?
They just don't know me yet.
Give that spirit some of Jimmy's liquor and see if they want to be his friend.
Yeah.
What'd you say the name of your liquor was again?
It's called Paranormal Spirit. We actually got blackberry and caramel apple.
Where, if people want to find some of your liquor, where can they find that at?
East Tennessee Distillery in Piney Flats, Tennessee, or Moonshine Depot over in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, beside a Cooter's place.
Nice. Did you hear Christy talking about she's had some teams go in there and she could tell they had been drinking and stuff like that? I mean, it's like, how are you going to do a paranormal investigation and do that?
Yeah, I mean, if they want to do it, they need to do it afterwards.
Yeah, when they're done with everything.
Yeah.
That's disrespectful to the location, to the paranormal field in general, I feel like.
Yep.
So, Kevin, have you been back to the Glen House since we shot?
Haven't been inside. They closed down they have their shutdown period of the year, so they're just now ramping back up, I believe.
They do a big Christmas thing, right? Don't they decorate go all out for Christmas?
Yes.
Along with, like I've said, along with people hopefully watching the documentary, if you're in that area, if you're in Cape Girardeau, Missouri, and near the Glen House, and there are tours available, would highly encourage anyone to go and check that place out, or you can donate online. They have a website. It's glenhouse.org. Would definitely encourage anyone to go and donate to that place and help preserve it. That'd be awesome. Do you know when we were there, one of their windows was out in the top room. Do you know if they got that fixed, or is it still out?
I think it's fixed now. I went by and took some pictures and sent them to Jimmy.
Okay.
But even if you don't know about the paranormal, they also do historic tours.
Mm-hmm.
And Christy is a walking history of the area and the city. She can tell you the history of the city and the important people from the past. I mean, she can tell you so much information just off the top of her head. So, like, I've always enjoyed hearing her kind of tell how the city started and talk about some of the characters that were well known when the city was being established. She's got some really good history, if you're into that.
Yeah, man. I'd never even heard of Cape Girardeau, but I really enjoyed my time there. I like the little city, and it's got a pretty cool university there, and the little downtown area where we went and got something to eat was pretty cool right there on the river and stuff too.
And one thing about the Glen House and Christy and them, when we got there and started shooting up there, I mean, everybody welcomed us in, and it was just like a big family, and they actually treated us really good up there.
Yeah, we did. They even stuck $1 in the restaurant on the wall.
It's still there.
You been back?
There.
Yeah, I've been back a couple
nice.
times.
That food was good there. Yeah, she was so accommodating, man. I mean, it's like, she would unlock the door anytime that we need to get in and out and just allowed us to come and go. And
When Billy got locked out, set the alarms off.
well, we still had cameras in there and we were about to leave, so we needed to grab those. But no, Kevin, I want to thank you again for kind of spearheading allowing us to be able to, like Jimmy said, and like I said, thank you for you know bringing it up to Jimmy and for him reaching out to me, man. I hope that I did you guys justice and did that house justice with what we were able to film for a couple of days.
But Billy, I was going to bring this up too. If you remember the first night, we left the cameras. You left your cameras in there. I left my cameras in there. Neither
Yeah.
one. We both had them on record, and we never got footage from the first night on either camera.
That one camera that I set up's weird, man. It was a pretty expensive camera, but it's like you have to press record like 3 times for it actually to start recording. And I think I made a mistake with that. I think I only pressed it twice. It only recorded for like 5 seconds and then stopped recording. So I think that was human error. Yours, which may have been the second night, I mean, I scrolled through all that footage. There's like 5 hours worth of footage, and I threw it up on a timeline, and I, never saw anything. And when you scroll through planted camera footage like that, you throw it on a timeline, you look for audio waves too to see if there's any type of noise and whatnot. And I didn't see any. There were no. I mean, you could hear cars because it's right near the road, which they're pretty easy to distinguish. But again, that's I certainly would have put something in there if there would have been something to put in there. But it was cool though, man. I mean, like I said in the piece, I always want more. I mean, I wish the dolls would have jumped up and started dancing for us, and and we would have caught shadow figures and other stuff. But you can't force the paranormal, and you can't. I mean, and that goes back to your point, Kevin. What you were saying earlier, it's like people go in there and just have completely different experiences. And I think it's obviously like that in every haunted location that you go to. So, I again, I'm never happy when I leave a shoot. That's just me. But I know that we got good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy with the way this turned out, and not to beat a dead horse, but I feel like if people truly sit down and watch it, the paranormal evidence will speak for itself.
I do too. That's what Jeff and I was talking about, because we didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
And we when we sat down and watched it, I didn't know what evidence we got until we sat there and watched the film ourselves.
But I do. Go ahead, Jeff.
That's why I was going to touch on Jimmy. I was like, it's kind of weird seeing yourself up there doing it and not knowing the evidence. I mean, it's a little weird.
Also, I didn't want to tell you guys anything that other people had experienced there, because I didn't want to jade our experiences there. So I kept a lot of that stuff to myself. And, if we went there again, we might get a whole different set of responses and experiences.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk to Christy and do a Glen House revisit.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I mean, I like hearing other people's experiences, like Jimmy telling the story about seeing the little girl and stuff like that, but specific paranormal evidence and stuff, I don't really care to really hear about that. What excites me as a storyteller, as a filmmaker, is if you can get a story on like the history. For example, this, like, Christy specifically mentioned that, 3 or 4 of the kids of Lula and David, who were the first owners of the house, died in the house, or at least were buried in the house, whatever it was. And then we get one of their names on an EVP. We get Henry, which, again, this is in part 2, a direct response back. That to me is more gratifying than anything, because I think it makes your evidence more legit. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the real history and then you get the name and stuff. Unless our brains are just playing tricks on us and we wanted to hear that name.
Yeah, it was getting late at night. We just say that.
I'm telling you, man, like that stuff. I'm skipping ahead to part 2. Maybe we'll do a live next week to talk about part 2 if you guys are available. But in David's room, we don't want to give away too much. In the second night in David's room, man, we got some crazy responses on the spirit box, and the EVPs were pretty insane in there.
Yeah, all the equipment up there.
And Kevin called it Lula's dad's name at first in your intro. What was Lula's dad's name? Was it David? No, not David. Edwin.
Edwin, yeah.
You thought it was Edwin's room when it was David's room.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
so like some of those responses were intelligent responses.
Exactly.
Yeah, I didn't really catch that until later. That, wait a minute, this isn't Edwin's room. This is David's room.
I know, and I think that's super cool. And I think again, like I just said, I think it legitimizes the evidence even more. I mean, we're in his room and we're hearing a voice back that says that name. It's crazy to me.
Be like, hey, you in the wrong room. You in David's room.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that spirit corrected you.
That's
right. He wanted you to know. But my favorite piece of paranormal evidence is this.
Right now. Bringing the spirit that's in.
All right. Somebody's got to fess up.
I just got to say something.
Was it Jeff?
I don't know if it was Jeff, Kevin, Billy, or who.
He put that in there because I never even heard that.
Nobody did. Look at the clip. Nobody moved. And like me and Jimmy were saying, if that, listen, if I'd have heard that with my own ears, I would have busted out laughing.
Me too.
Stop.
That's what I'm saying. One of us would have reacted to it.
And I don't know how many viewers we got on here and people go back and watch and comment, but have anybody ever heard of a ghost fart?
Listen, right? Hey, so all right, so let me back up a little bit. So I had one of my former interns was editing this in Atlanta, and he started picking up all these projects. So he only got like the first 15 minutes cut. So I had to come in and finish off everything. And I'm telling you, when I heard that clip for the first time, I called my wife into my office and I was like, listen to this. I was like, what do you think that is? She's like, it's a fart. She's like, one of y'all farted. I was like, no. I was like, and I let her look at the audio wave, and the audio wave jumps like during that clip. I was like,
there was a couple other things. Like I could have swore that when we were in that room that we heard footsteps running outside.
Yeah.
Remember that?
We caught footsteps a couple of times. I actually put it in the thing upstairs. But I still don't know whether that sound came from the microphone or if that's a disembodied voice. I can't tell because I've gotten rid of all those recordings on the actual microphone and stuff too. But I've never had that happen, and I've shot like 30 some of these documentaries and series now in different locations. And I've never heard a noise like that. It's so bizarre. Funny too. I mean, a fart's always gonna make people laugh.
that had to have been Billy.
Look at me. If I swear I'd fess up to it. Look at I guess
That's the thing.
it definitely wasn't me, but I guess it could have snuck out the front and come out because I was sitting down.
I mean, Billy was sitting there like
If
this.
you watch it, we're all like listening intently for a response, and nobody reacted.
No, I would have fessed up to it. I would have started laughing right there. Ask my wife. I mean, 100% would have. So that has to be the most compelling paranormal evidence we got, right?
Hey, what's up, Russell? That's going to barrel.
Well, I put it out on social media. I put it on social media, and nobody said anything about it. So how about I put that out on TikTok? This is so weird. I put it on the Scare Network TikTok, that clip, and all these people started saying sorry. They started writing the word sorry. So I'm like, what? Sorry for what?
Sorry that a ghost fart.
Yeah. I know that makes no sense. They're like writing sorry on there. Sorry. There's like 10 responses saying sorry.
Excuse me, David. This let a big one.
Okay. Oh, you blame it on David, or it was in Lula's room?
Was it in David's room?
No, that was in Lula's. That was in Lula's room. So Lula farted.
That's a typical woman for you. What's up, Rick Bunn? Rick, this join in.
A ghost woman fart.
Yeah.
No, but all serious. I had a lot of fun filming this. Like Christy said, right when I got there, it was like all business. And I meant to say this when she said that, because when I go and do these things, it's like, man, I know that I got a job to do. And I know that if I don't get the B-roll, if I don't get the drone stuff, if I don't get the interviews, if I don't get, what I need to get, then obviously nobody else is going to get it. So I didn't spend all my time, effort, and energy driving 13 hours to just sit around and hear ghost farts. I wanted to get some legit evidence. And that place, man, that place is awesome. And I feel like it's a really underrated. Well, I guess they don't want. Christy said they're really selective on who they want to come in and investigate, and they should. They should be, because that place is cool.
Yes, and the stuff that they got laying around there.
Yeah, the artifacts, and I meant to. Yeah, what about that photo of that one little kid in the trailer? The photo of the little girl, and her hair's like all curled on the side. This up in the children's room. Remember that photo?
Yes.
Dude, that is a freaky photo. That thing's gonna give me nightmares.
A lot of the photos in the children's room are taken after the children are deceased.
I know, and we didn't really talk about that on the documentary. So I think did she? I don't know if she said that in her interview or not, because I probably would have put that in there. Now I know we talked about a lot of the wreaths and stuff made of human hair, but I don't think we dove into what you just said. But I do. That usually
does mention it, because apparently during that time that was more common of a trend. People would do that. Now that would be very frowned upon. But
especially
it wasn't.
Especially the big picture made out of human hair.
Yeah, that wreath or whatever. That was in Lula's room. There were a couple of them like that in the house.
Yeah, a couple of the dolls have actual human hair on them too. The one doll that has the teeth, I don't know if those are human teeth or not, but it's a freaky doll. I know that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if the teeth are real, but I think the hair is real on that. But that, I mean, the way they have that place decorated and just the layout of the house and stuff is It's super cool, man. I really dug it. I'd go back in a heartbeat, given a chance to do more. So I hope y'all can work with Christy and get it organized and have a screening there. I think that would be really awesome.
Yeah, I told her that, yesterday, I believe, when I talked to her, I said I'm gonna let Kevin get with her and hook up a date, and we take off and go up there.
That would be pretty neat to like have a screen outside and watch a documentary of the actual house and being at the house. But my hopes would be that people would come and just kind of donate and give back to the house. That's what I would want.
Yeah, it'd be nice for people to come because those historic places, they're getting fewer and fewer.
Yeah.
And they kind of survive off of donations and fundraisers,
Yeah, and Kev, you could play a few tunes too. See, I'm organizing all this for you.
There's actually been 2 other teams that I know of went up there since we went up there.
Oh, really?
And investigated it.
Have they put anything out?
No.
Okay.
No, they ain't put nothing out. They just went up and investigated it.
Nice. I wonder I'm curious what kind of evidence they got. Or maybe they just live streamed and stuff or what?
I don't even believe they live streamed it. Did they live stream, Jeff?
I think maybe just for a little bit, but not very long.
They didn't do anything on the scale we did, though, obviously, right?
No, they didn't record.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, is there anything else that you guys want to?
I just want to say thank each and every one of y'all, Jeff, Kevin, Billy, the Glenn House. I want to thank y'all, and I want to thank the viewers that's commenting. And Friday, please go over to ScareNetwork. I mean, go now and subscribe and watch it, because it's something. It meant a lot to us. I mean, I had a great time doing it, and like I said, I'm glad Jeff and Kevin was part of it with us too.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to experience it and was able to go that weekend. It's hard for me to go places because of my daughters, getting them on the weekends and stuff.
Oh, something weird just happened. Did I lose y'all?
No, I'm still here.
Okay.
No.
Kevin?
All right.
Kevin's froze.
No,
no, that's his everyday.
No, he fell asleep. He fell asleep.
I'm about to fall asleep. But no, I mean, to go along with what you're saying, I mean, I encourage everybody to go over there and just watch it, give us feedback. I know I've said this several times, man. It just meant a lot to us because it was a lot of time and effort, and I just want to know what people think about it. I'm always curious to kind of know people's thoughts on the evidence we got, the history of the place, and this and that. And I'm grateful to just have the knowledge to be able to put something together like that. So thank you guys for spending your time and effort and coming and helping me put it together.
Thank you, Billy.
Appreciate you, Billy.
Kevin, any parting thoughts?
No, but definitely go out and see it. They have activities throughout the rest of the year. They even have nights where they have local musicians that come in and play. And, it's all by donation. They don't charge. And the ScareNetwork, check it out, try it out. You can cancel it anytime if you're not happy with it. So you're not obligated to being locked into a commitment. I think it's $4.99 a month.
Yep.
So check it out.
And go on to YouTube and check out Kevin Palmer freight train video, because Billy actually shot that video for Kevin too up in Missouri.
Yeah, you got to repost that, Kevin. Repost that in the next couple of days on your social media, just
It's,
because we shot it up there.
it's number 12 on the charts in Europe right now.
Good deal.
That song is?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Congratulations. I didn't know
They
that.
linked the video to it. So,
Oh, awesome. You got any new music coming out?
yeah, I just recorded 2 new ones. Hopefully, the studio will be finished with them in a couple weeks.
Oh, nice. I definitely want to do another music video for you. We got to get that organized. Hey, since Leland went to that house, you guys should tell him to check out the documentary. Did he spend much time in the Glen house?
We were filming.
Yeah.
We were filming all weekend a video, and while he was in town, we ran up there to kind of get a private tour and walk through the place, kind of introduce everybody to the place. I think his new show just got approved. I think he's got his own new show coming out soon.
Yeah, he's actually in Hawaii right now. I just talked to him 3 days ago.
Was his show like kind of like what his dad was doing, or what?
Yeah, it's like the next generation.
Okay. What? Just out of curiosity, when y'all went to Glen House, how did he react, or did he say anything about it? Did he feel any like off or anything, or just curious?
He thought it was cool. He was interested in it, but he's more skeptical.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
Stuff that he couldn't explain, though, could he?
But we had a great time, and always, every time that I've ever been there, or every time I've ever talked to them, they offer up Southern hospitality. They make you feel welcome. They give you the grand tour of the place. They give you the history on it. It's not like you're kind of, away. They welcome you there.
Yeah. I mean, you're saying Leland being skeptical. I like to think I'm still skeptical too, and I kind of am, and I think that helps me out when I put these documentaries together, because I'm not like every creak in the floor. I'm not like, oh, that's paranormal, or that's this and that. So I think that benefits me kind of being that way too. So,
but Billy does jump. You got to watch part 2.
But I've learned so much about the paranormal just filming these things too, that like I was saying earlier, you're not going to just catch a ghost every time. I mean, but there's some stuff going on at the Glen house, I can promise you that. So anyways, all right, fellas, y'all have a good night. Thank you again. Everybody go to ScareNetwork.tv, go download our app, and check out the Glen house. We're going to drop it at midnight tomorrow night. It's going to be playing all day Friday, and then part 2 will be out next week.
Thank you, y'all.
All right.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one. Later, guys.